Hello, my name is Kirsti Taiviola. I'm a glass artist, designer and teacher from Helsinki, Finland. I will introduce you the Kehrä-project as a case example of how real-life projects and client work can be integrated in schoolwork to support the learning the profession of a glassblower. I'll also tell about how working with glassblowing students influenced my work as an artist. To introduce you the project that I'm going to talk to you about, let's start with a 10-minute documentary about it. The documentary is directed by Juhani Haukka. And after the documentary, I'll go through the project in more detail.
Helmikuun harmaat taivaat alkoi 9. helmikuuta ja ne jatku samantyyppisenä aina 20. helmikuuta asti, jolloin alkoi kirkas pakkasjakso. Ja se pakkasjaksokin niin kuin, tavallaan tuotti saman teeman muunnoksia paljon. Helmikuun harmaat taivaat on kermaa, tummanharmaata, keskiharmaata, valkosta, siniharmaata. Pakkasjaksolla persikkaa, pinkkiä, kermaa, roosaa, laventelia, jopa vaalean sinistä ja puuteria. Ja alkaa typistyä jo helmikuussa nämä ohjeet tavallaan kuvaamaan enemmän sitä, miten ne väriraidat laitetaan, kuin että enää sillai monella sanalla kuvailisi sitä päivän olemusta. Kun sitten, jos mennään esimerkiksi maaliskuuhun, siellä alkaa olla ohjeet typistynyt jos melkein suoraan vaan kuvauksiksi. Esimerkiksi 7. maaliskuuta 2018 kello 6.57. Kevyesti kierretyllä jauhepohjalla ohut keräys pinkkiä ja kultaa ja kermaa leveinä raitoina. Sama kuin edellisen päivän kappale, mutta jauhepohjalla. Kun sitten taas toukokuu. 1.5. Ihanan hörhellyspumpulipilvimatto ja roosa hattarainen taivaanranta. Pohja emailvaisjauhe. Ensimmäinen rivi opal neutral grey, opal white K1 leveä, gold ruby regular leveä regular. Toinen rivi opal neutral grey, opal white K1 leveä, old rose. Tämä tavallaan on selitettävissä sillain, että tämä reg on mulle muistisääntö sen nauhan leveyteen. Ja koska mä tein ne työohjeet englannin kielellä, koska mestaripuhaltaja on ranskalainen, niin näissä ohjeissa meni sekaan englanti ja suomi ja sitten saksalaisen väritoimittajan saksankieliset värinimet välillä sekaisin.
Tuo on hieno myös.
Tämä. 2.5. kello 5.11. Hurmaavan märkää valuvaa sumuista, kosteaa, tiivistä ja maagista. Enamel white rod. Ohut keräys steel blue, neutral grey, alabaster, regular. Ohut keräys steel blue, neutral grey, regular, leveä alabaster vastakierre. Ei näistä saa mitään tolkkua, ellei ole nähnyt niitä työohjeita tai niitä miten se kuvallinen niin kuin ohjeistus toimi. Mutta aika kiehtova nähdä, miten se tavallaan ikään kuin se oma havaitsemisen kieli alkoi muuttua jo niiksi paperiohjeiksi, mitä mä tiesin tekeväni. Että sen mietti jo valmiiksi sen merkkikielen kautta sen taivaan vaikutelman.
Putting them in bundles.
Yeah.
bundles and then a very loose thread. So that there would actually be a lot of white in between.
So you would
the
like
bundles.
to have the color already together, or we put one by one?
Don't think it's easy.
I don't know. We haven't tried to take three color on one thread. We could try that also.
We could also try
Because
that.
we could maybe gather on three and then just stick on one.
Oh right, so it could be
Rather than to take on the same piece of glass three colors, because this would just mix everything. We could just on different pipes gather the three different colors and we could route everything on one pipe.
We could try that.
We can try, yeah.
It might be
We
interesting.
could also maybe twist a little bit before we, so it can go on top of each other.
Muotoilun ja taiteen historiassa on niin kytköksissä tehdastuotantoon. Että oikeastaan kaikki kultakauden lasiteokset on tapahtunut tehdasympäristössä ja sen on tehdaspuhaltajat ollut takana. Mua kiehtoi ajatus se, että miten semmoista ikään kuin sarjatuotannon olemusta voisi hyödyntää tai käyttää siten, että tuloksena tuleekin niin kuin uniikkeja kappaleita. Ja sitten myös se, että jos sen työn toteuttaa opiskelijaryhmä, että mitä sen opiskelijan kädenjälki, joka ei ole siis vielä ammattilaisen tasolla, että miten tavallaan kunnioittaa sellaista ikään kuin, no ei sitten voi sanoa virheenä, mutta vaan niin kuin ehkä epätasalaatuisuutta. Että voisiko sen valjastaa projektissa hyödyksi, että se tavallaan niin kuin vielä kehittyvä käsityötaito lopulta tuottaakin jotain sellaista, mitä semmoinen piinkova, rautainen ammattilainen ei enää niin kuin pysty tuottaa, koska on vähän niin kuin liian taitava.
Ei liikaa, se muuten viilentää sit liikaa, mutta silleen, että se ei yli puhallu tää yläosa. Raks ulos. Hyvin näistä.
Okay, if you need to put compressed air, you come very close from this part.
Yeah.
You cool down only this.
Se ei oo sit savua varten.
Okay.
Koko projektiin liittyy osittain myös tausta se, että mä oon tehnyt vuosikausia töitä pääasiallisesti niin kuin värittömän lasin kanssa. Et mä en ole siis pitkään aikaan ajatellut värejä juurikaan. Siis valohan sisältää kaikki värit. Ja sillä tavalla se oli jollain tavalla ehkä luontevaakin lähteä nimenomaan tutustumaan uudelleen väreihin nimenomaan auringonvalon kautta. Että se ajatus siitä, että ne värit on piilossa siinä valossa. Ja sitten mä katson, mitä se valo tekee taivaalle ja lähden sieltä niin kuin, että otan ne sävyt sieltä ja siirrän ne töihin. Et se oli myös niin kuin tutkimusmatka siihen valon väreihin. teos, mikä tuosta lopulta tulee, niin sehän on sarja tämmöisiä hetkiä, jotka on ikään kuin tallennettu pysyvään käsin kosketeltavaan muotoon. Sitten se on vähän niin kuin semmoinen yhden aikakauden arkisto. Tai yhden hyvinkin arkisen, tavallisen, ei millään tavalla poikkeavan aikakauden arkisto. Tai siihen on tallennettu sarja arkisia aamuja, jotka ei ollut millään tavalla niin kuin merkittäviä tässä universumissa niin kuin kellekään tietyllä tapaa. Mutta musta se on jollain tavalla niin kuin ihana ajatus, että kaiken ei tarvi olla myöskään sellaista jotenkin, että se tavallaan tavallinen riittää.
Hello again. I hope you enjoyed the film. I will now tell about the Kehrä-project in more detail. This presentation is a story about how design and implementation can create a learning environment that serves the learning process of a glassblowing student while preparing parts for a work of art. I also describe my experience as an artist implementing a long-term project with glassblowing school that required coordination, advanced planning, follow-ups, and most importantly, the ability to trust my artwork into the hands of students. The lecture is divided in 5 parts. First, I'll talk about how the Kehrä-project got started. Then I'll open up the concepts and ideas behind the artwork and collaboration. Talk about how the project was implemented. Then I've collected the students' thoughts and my own thoughts and make a conclusion of the project. Kehrä-project took place in 2017-2019. It was done in collaboration with Tavastia Vocational College's glassblowing school that operates in Nuutajärvi Glass Village in southern Finland. The school is educating glass blowers, both to work as factory blowers but also to work as individual studio glass artists. These pictures are from Nuutajärvi, that is in the very heart of Finnish glass making and its history. Glass has been made in the village since 1793, when the first glass factory was founded. Nowadays the factory has been moved to Ittala village nearby, but there is a lively community of glass artists and craftspeople working in Nuutajärvi, side by side with the glassblowing school. The school regularly arranges training days for their students in the Ittala glass factory, and sometimes they have invited design students to collaborate. Some of my design students from Aalto University have had the privilege to attend these weekend sessions at the factory, which has always been a happily welcomed opportunity. As happy as I have been for my students, I remember once saying half seriously to Sara Hulkonen, a teacher in the glass school, that it would be so great as a practicing artist to be invited to work with the students on one of those weekends. As we all know, sometimes it's good to say your hopes aloud, because in the spring 2017 I got a phone call from Sara, and she said that we have booked this and this day at the factory. Could you come? Well, of course I could. And in the next moment, oh my goodness, what to do there? Because for a long time then, I had been working only with clear glass, that I had worked into glass lenses like this to make different light projections with. Even though the lenses are hand blown, they are quite tricky to make right, so it wasn't an ideal thing to do lens work with the blowing students. So I needed to come up with a completely new project. I knew that the students are not professionals and their skills are limited depending on the stage in which they are in their studies. Thus, I didn't want to push the students too hard and do something technically too challenging. Also, I did not want to play it too safe and design something simple that would have most likely succeeded but would have been a boring result. I realized that a day of experimenting could be useful for both the students and me. I could use the results as a visual source to help me in my future design work, and the students would gain blowing experience but also see the results of different experiments and gain more understanding of the material they're working with. I chose to experiment with powder colors and different ways of spinning them. Powder colors are easier and faster to work with compared to using rods, so it felt like a comfortable solution. Here's some pictures from the sessions we had in Iittala factory. For some reason, I had always disliked the effect powders often make. The foggy, uneven surface of powders compared to the evenly bright effects of the rod colors hadn't appealed to me before. It's good to question one's preferences and once in a while, and so it felt like the right time to finally look into the possibilities of powders. We had a great day of experimenting with powders and spinning and winding and threading powder-colored glass in various ways. I got a great collection of samples to carry home. Once I was back here at my workshop with the samples and observing the results from Iittala, I felt like I was in the beginning of something new. I began to collect my thoughts on things that I wanted to work with and to have more insight of. I listed these 5 topics. I wanted to work with powder colors and take advantage of their beauty potential. From the Iittala experiments, I found beautiful watercolor-like effects and beautiful thin strands of concentrated colors that inspired me a lot. I also wanted to observe the colors of sunlight and develop my color perception ability. As I mentioned earlier, I've mostly worked with clear glass, making lenses and projections of light with them. The color range I've used has been around 2500 to 4000 Kelvin in most cases. While planning the sessions in Iittala, I realized that I hadn't thought of colors for ages, and yet I knew that sunlight has all the colors in it. I also wanted to produce objects in a large series to remind of factory work tradition. Working in the factory with students felt really good. I liked the idea of repetition, the aim to create multiples, to produce something in big series that is inbuilt in the nature of factory work. The culture of Finnish glass making is deeply rooted in factory work. During the golden era of Finnish glass design, as the 1950s is often called, in-house designers worked in the glass factories of Nuutajärvi, Iittala, Riihimäki, in close collaboration with the glass blowers. this model of collaboration between craftspeople and designers still lives strongly in the Finnish culture of glass making, but the collaboration happens not so much in the glass factories anymore, but in small independent studios. Being part of this continuum of glassmaking culture feels very special to me, and I want to do my share as an artist to ensure that the glassblowing skill is maintained so that it is passed on to future generations. I wanted to work with glassblowing students to highlight the beauty of imperfection. I found it interesting to challenge myself and create a project where the imperfection of skills could be turned into advantage. I see beauty in incompleteness, the raw, something that's not finished yet, something we're working towards the process of becoming, I could say. It interests me because the idea of incompleteness contains the idea of change, movement, hope, and even promise for the better. All these things are related also to the process of learning, and I just think it's really beautiful. And last but not least, I wanted to observe and experience the fact that days are really getting longer and lighter. And in order to do that, I wanted to start waking up every morning with sunrise to document it. A thing that has drawn me to work with light is connected to my yearly struggle against the dark. The city of Helsinki, where I live, is located on the 60th latitude, which means that our winter days are really short and, if without snow, very dark. But towards the end of February, one starts to feel a promise of longer and lighter times ahead, and that feeling is always amazing. The great contrast between light and dark times of the year is very special. These thoughts listed started to shape into a project plan. I didn't know exactly what it was going to be. I only had a very strong feeling that I really want and I really need to start working. First, I played with an idea to create a glass piece of each sunrise of the calendar year. That's 365 pieces altogether. But it felt better to focus on the part of the year where the days are getting longer and the amount of light is increasing. I like the metaphor of hope that is weaved into every sunrise, and hope is something I also see in learning. It's aiming for the better future and creating a continuum of things. On 21st of December 2017, I woke up in the morning, took my camera and left for work. At 9:43, I took this picture. It was the moment of sunrise. Very typical weather for the season. Sun is there, just rising above the horizon, but behind thick clouds. I had chosen the particular day to start my project, as it's the shortest day of the year. From then on, for a 6 months' time, I took a picture every day in the moment of sunrise. In the beginning it was easy as the sun rose late, but towards the summer my alarm clock rang earlier and earlier. This picture is taken on the last morning I woke up with the sunrise. It was midsummer, 21st of June 2018, and then it was 3:52 a.m. I finished the photographing there because 21st of June is the longest day of the year. I had concluded my task to evidence the days getting longer. The result was 183 photographs of sunrises. Apart from taking pictures, I wrote down short descriptions of each moment of the sunrise. They were notes on the weather, the colors of the sky, and the impression I had of the moment. These notes I translated into working instructions that I eventually used to communicate my color plans to the glassblowing students. I first designed a table lamp like this in the picture. A blown glass piece is attached between two wooden parts so that it looks like a sewing thread. I thought about making these lamps in a series of 183, one to represent each moment of sunrise. However, the idea quite soon changed into making an installation of all the pieces rather than making many separate objects. The glass cylinder, as seen in this picture, became the basic unit for the installation. The piece is mold blown for efficiency and to include a hint of factory-like production. I wanted to make the handprint of the maker, the glass-blowing student, visible in the pieces. The solution for this was to make the coloring process prone to inconsistencies that would also result in more unique pieces. The coloring is made with powder colors that are spanned around the bubble. I contacted the school about an idea of collaboration, and they welcomed my idea right away. The school is very open for collaboration, and they regularly work together, for example, with design schools. However, my project plan was a bit different from what they had been used to, as it was about serial production and it needed a much longer commitment to make all the pieces. But I'm happy that they saw potential in the project also from pedagogical side. The idea was to fit the project into the school's routines so that some days of each month would be given to the Kehrä-project and the rest of the time they would follow their usual study plan. I felt that the project needed to respect the students' learning and help them in that by giving them enough time to work on it rather than trying to force them to work with a really tight deadline. I made these instructions for the students to communicate the coloring plan of each glass piece. The instructions are numbered with the dates of each sunrise, and they follow a particular sign language to describe how to spin the glass threads around the bubble. The instructions always follow the same work steps, but the thickness and interval of the threads vary, as do the colors and their order. We started the production in the spring 2018, and it took us a bit more than a year to finish. The students that attended the project were in different stages in their studies. Some were about to graduate, some were beginners, so their skills varied. Some students graduated in the middle of the project and new ones came in halfway. The school decided to hire a recent graduate of theirs, Manuel Diemer, to work as the blower in the project. Manu became a really important figure in the project as he worked as the master, the head of the team. He proved to be of excellent help as he guided the students in many ways throughout the whole project. The students were given the responsibility to build a team themselves and to find out the roles needed to maintain good production rhythm and to understand what roles are important in a project where it's crucial that the working instructions are followed accurately, the colors are prepared right and at the right time, and to keep track of which piece is made according to which instruction. My part of the production was in the coordination, project management and cold work. I traveled regularly to Nuutajärvi to see how the project proceeded. On those days I was able to check up that each piece was done according to the plan, marked accordingly and matching my impressions of the sunrise. Some pieces needed to be blown again, and my task was to keep track that all the 183 pieces will be finished. I did the cold work and engraved the right dates on the finished pieces before packing them away. I felt very welcome every time I visited Nuutajärvi and felt that the students appreciated the project and were happy to have the chance to be part of a real-life project. I got very good feedback from the students. I particularly remember what one student once said to me. She had noticed that going regularly back to Kehrä-project between her usual blowing lessons had helped her to better understand the things she had been practicing on those lessons. So coming every once in a while back to the serial production routine of Kehrä seemed to have supported her learning. It's actually very logic, as we know that learning takes time and sometimes monotonous routine work allows your mind to work on other things. The feedback I got from Marika Kinnunen, the responsible teacher in the school, was very heartwarming. Marika thought that the greatest thing about the project was that the students got valuable experience of working in a big team with a master. Such a situation is rare in their normal school life, as students often work either alone, in pairs, or in groups of maximum 3. Teamwork requires that all the members are clear in their responsibilities and focus on their tasks perfectly. At the same time, keep a close eye on what the other team members are doing and how to sync all the work steps together. In Marika's words, also understanding the meaning of disciplined work was very important. Because when doing commission work and large series routine work, one must be able to work in a very disciplined manner. Marika was also happy that the students' understanding of the glassblower's profession widened by making client work. Glassblower's profession is not only about technique, it's also a service profession, as the money often comes from commission work. The glassblower needs to be able to communicate with other people and stretch into different projects, possibly far from their own personal taste or technical ambitions. And last but not least, as novice students were included in the project, they got a good overall picture of their studies and an idea about their future profession in the very beginning of their study path. On the client side, working with the students was inspiring, but it also brought in some issues and uncertainties that needed to be taken into account in the planning and organization of the project. Next, I'll tell you about the things I learned the most of and that challenged me the most as the project progressed. I had no guarantee of how long it would take to realize all the pieces and what the quality of the pieces would be. This made the budget calculations difficult and a bit risky to jump into the project with no funding in the beginning. We estimated that we can finish an average of 8 pieces in 1 working day, so we would need approximately 23 working days altogether. But it was hard to estimate how many pieces we might need to reblow due to faults or this kind of accidents, perhaps. We had some problems with the mold surface coating wearing off and some problems with thickness in the neck that caused cracking when flame cutting, etc. But in the end it took us 24 days, and I estimate we needed to reblow around 40 pieces, which is fair and a relief on the budget side of the project. It was important to me that the students' learning is respected. I was a paying customer, but the fee that the school takes for student work is lower than when hiring a team of professionals, and that's another thing why I considered it extremely important that the project is done in accordance with the values and goals of the school. I didn't want to make anyone feel that I'm exploiting someone. Thus, the school got the freedom to plan how the production was organized. Communication and project management came to be very central parts of the project. It was important to me to be an active client and to be there in the school regularly so that we could go through the finished works together and build up a common understanding of what is the quality level to aim at and to avoid possible systematic errors in the process. I believe that my attendance at the school was important also to show that I'm interested in the work the students are doing. Working slowly within a long period of time was very fruitful because many students got the experience to work in the team. I love the fact that every time a new person joined the team or the team changed roles, it resulted in more unique class pieces. This was a very welcome phenomenon because craft skills improve through practice and the results tend to become more uniform. But uniformity was something I wanted to avoid. I wanted to embrace coincidences, mistakes even, the imperfection. I found it rewarding that the project progressed slowly as it gave time also to me to dwell on the ideas and to articulate them better to others, but also to myself. As in learning, time often helps in clarifying one's thoughts, and all the writing I did to find funding and gallery applications I prepared and the discussions I had with friends and colleagues helped me to understand the essentials in the project. As the work progressed, the glass pieces were packed away in these cardboard boxes, one after the other. I had started to wonder where to find a suitable and big enough space to unpack them, to see them all as a whole. This would help a lot in the planning the final installation. I mentioned about this space searching challenge of mine to American glass artist Jonathan Capps, who at the time worked as a Fulbright scholar in Nuutajärvi Glass Village, and he actually solved my problem. One day he came to me and said that he's been asked to curate the annual summer exhibition of the Nuutajärvi Glass Village, and he suggested me that I mount all the glass pieces on the window in the old glass factory hall and make an installation of them to the exhibition. I immediately got excited. The space that Jonathan was talking about is really inspiring, with aged concrete floors, etched and dusty windows, and remains of a massive old furnace still there. Jonathan's idea was great, as it enabled me to have a look at all the pieces together. But it also allowed me to test the mounting solution and to observe the impression all the sunrise-inspired glass pieces make in the changing daylight of the summer season. That's how the installation, 180 days in random order, saw daylight. But that's only a milestone in the project. The Kehrä-project hasn't turned its last page yet. The final installation is going to be exhibited in November 21 in my solo show at the Finnish Glass Museum in Riihimäki, Finland. The installation is going to look different in the museum setting. All the pieces of glass are illuminated from within, and all the material related to the project is gathered together and presented to the public. And while we're waiting for the exhibition to open, we have started a new collaboration with the Glass School that follows the same pattern. Once the COVID-19 pandemic is over and the school can open its doors again, we'll continue blowing 365 glass pieces to make an altarpiece to Kehrä Church in southern Finland. But that's another story. Thank you for listening.